This is a diagram that I made in PowerPoint, and it just shows what I was talking. It shows visually what I was talking about earlier with the mycorrhizal fungi extending the plant roots. So this is a very magnified plant root, and this is the channel of the middle of the root that the water and nutrients travel up through. And these are the fine root hairs that you can see when you look at a root really closely. And those root hairs are what pull the nutrients into the root and then ultimately up into the plant. And the mycorrhizae attach to those fine root hairs and then come all the way out, 10 times as far away or more, and bring those nutrients in. Just a term I should have introduced earlier, rhizosphere. One of my favorite words is actually the name of my old dog as well. Yeah, rhizo for short. So the rhizosphere is, there are two types of soil, or physically. You've got what's called bulk soil, which is all the soil that's not shown in this diagram, and then there's the rhizosphere, which is the sphere of soil around a living root. And that's important because that rhizosphere is where all this life is happening. That's where the microbes are. That's where they're thriving. That's where their life cycles are happening in the bulk soil away from the rhizosphere. So bulk soil over here or over here or down here, that soil is comparatively devoid of life because it's sort of like, in our context, it would be like a desert to them. If there's no plant roots in there, there's no if there's no plant roots or material breaking or rotting material, there's nothing for the microbes to live on, and so they gravitate towards where life is easy, and that is in the rhizosphere. Here's another example of what mycorrhizae do, and this data I selected from some of the scientific work of Clive Sinclair, the late founder of Pacific Biofert. They did this work where they measured the phosphorus concentration in the plant. Some of the plants inoculated with mycorrhizae, and other plants not. This graph over here has added phosphorus. And you can see that there's more phosphorus that ends up in the plant with mycorrhizae present, regardless of how much phosphorus is added. And this ties into another issue that is important in New Zealand, which is excessive applications of phosphorus. Because there's so much phosphorus in New Zealand that's just chemically locked up in the soil because of pH or because of other factors, and that it can be released and made available again. And that's information that should be available to every farmer when they get their soil tested. But it seems to get lost somewhere along the way. Chemical fertilizer company is doing the testing and telling the farmer how to interpret the results. There needs to, in order for effective change to happen, I think there needs to be an impartial third party to give truthful advice where they're not profiting